Mr. Chairman Howard and members of the House Human Services Committee, good afternoon. My name's Jim Smith, and I'm a lobbyist here in town for the Montana Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association and also the Montana County Attorneys Association. I've got a handout going around with some written testimony, and it's on Sheriffs Association letterhead, but I think both organizations would concur with the written testimony and with what I'm about to say. And first thing I would like to say is thanks. Thanks to the Interim Committee on Children and Families, and to Representative Sands and McLaren and everybody who worked on this. I think the work group met 3 times, as I recall, and then the subcommittee established met another 3 times. I think that was about 6 meetings, and they weren't love-ins by any means, but there were a lot of good people who involved themselves in that, and I think everybody worked hard, and everybody worked to try to bring a good bill to this legislature and to this committee. And I really think we'd all agree that Sue O'Connell, your staff person here and staff person for the interim, did a great job in terms of synthesizing everything she heard and saw, and she had a lot to do with getting the bill into the form it is. So Ms. O'Connell, Sue, thanks very much. You know, from law enforcement's perspective, there were about 3 priorities that we tried to engage the committee around. One, as Representative Sands said, we're looking for that clear, bright line between what's legal and what's not legal with regard to medical marijuana, and that's tough. The Powell County Attorney, Lewis K. Smith, is here, and he really took the lead on this for the county attorneys 2 years ago. And I remember him saying in the 2009 session, finding that clear, bright line is kind of hard when you've got a substance that is both legal and illegal. But nevertheless, that was what we tried to do. That was our first priority. The second one was, as Representative Sands said, giving local governments some authority, ability to regulate, zone, or deal with this in their local communities. And the sheriffs and county attorneys that I work for are elected people. And I'm somewhat involved myself with local community here, and local government, they wanted that. And the third priority from our standpoint was some way to limit youth access to medical marijuana. And I think the interim committee succeeded in all 3 of these regards to a remarkably successful degree. And so that's the reason we're here supporting House Bill 68 today. Now, there are some sheriffs and county attorneys who believe that repeal of the current law is really the best action this legislature could take. There are other sheriffs and other county attorneys who think that repeal and then re-referral, referring something else back out to the voters, is the best option before you. And that may well be. But I think both associations that I work for believe that some immediate clarification in the law is needed. I mean, they don't want to wait around until 2012 and see what a re-referral is going to look like. They'd like that clarification now. So what I've tried to do in my written testimony, Mr. Chairman, is point out those specific sections within House Bill 68 that are important to law enforcement, and Representative Sands walked you through most of them, so I won't repeat them, but there's a lot of good stuff in there from our perspective. And I echo and repeat what Mr. Batista and Mr. Long said. You know, whatever you do with this bill, whatever you do with other bills that come before you, if there's anything that's going to leave this committee or leave the House or be enacted by the 62nd Legislative Assembly, it ought to include, we respectfully ask that it include these specific law enforcement provisions. And finally, Mr. Chairman, I know there's other bills coming your way. You're going to have your hands full with this issue the rest of the session. But I really think that the more time you spend with House Bill 68, the better you're going to like it. I really believe that if this legislature wants to get a grip and a handle on this situation, that House Bill 68 is the place to start and the way to do it. There's probably additional work to be done on this bill, and there may be admirable features of other bills that have to be included, and a lot of work left to be done, and we'd like to stay with you, stay involved in this process. But House Bill 68 is an excellent starting point for your deliberations. So we commend it to you, and Mr. Chairman, I'll take your advice and adjourn myself to the hall, but I'll stick around and be available for any questions. So, thanks for your time.